Good evening. Hi, this is welcome back to Dave and Ryan Review. A little bit different this week. We are reviewing a new film, a very new film. It's only been out about a week. Black Panther, and we'll be sort of reacting and reviewing that. Note to everyone, warning to everyone: spoilers will be discussed in full. So if you do not want to know about the film, you should really not watch this. Well, if you do, then watch it.
Yep.
But if you haven't seen the film, there will be spoilers discussed.
Major spoilers.
Dave, I thought you had a visitor to the show.
I know, but I'm just, I'm getting ready for the review. So if you, yeah.
Okay, so slightly different format than what we've done previously. This is more of a, I guess it's a reaction or initial thoughts.
I have no idea what you think of it really,
Yeah,
and
really.
you don't either. Bar maybe one text message, which it's going to be pretty fresh for us. So
yeah, very fresh. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, I liked it a lot. I wouldn't say it's not like a 10 out of 10 movie for me. I'd say like more like 7, 8 out of 10. And the good definitely is definitely a good film. But there are bad elements to it. Not shockingly bad in my opinion, but yeah, I enjoyed it overall. I enjoyed Black Panther as a character and an introduction to the Marvel Cinematic Universe as well. It worked really well.
Mm. So that's good. So I saw it yesterday.
Yeah.
Wasn't sure what I was gonna think. I'd basically managed to dodge all spoilers, and I thought it was good.
Yeah.
I think maybe one of the issues, a lot of people, there was a lot of overhyping. I feel, a lot of people go, "This is the best movie they've ever done. Better than anything. This is number one now. The best movie villain, best Marvel villain they've ever done." And
yeah, I don't think
it was that good.
Yeah.
I don't think it's that, we'll get into it, but I don't think it was like you said, 10 out of 10, completely, peerless film. But I thought it was good. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed Black Panther. T'Challa. I like him as a character. Wakanda is an interesting place. It's a cool place. I felt like there was some bits that probably didn't need to be in there. It was a bit long. It felt long. I don't know what the actual runtime of the movie was. It felt a little long when I was sitting in there, but overall I enjoyed it. And I thought it was a good start to his, to his journey in the MCU.
Yeah, I enjoyed the very beginning in terms of finding out Wakandan history and the vibranium hitting Africa, and I loved that. I thought that's really cool. That's a really fresh idea, new take, and in the other films, vibranium is sort of hard to come by. When Captain America gets his shield, they say that's the last of it. Whereas they've got like mountains of it, haven't they? And they're technologically advanced, and it's just really cool to see. And I was looking forward to when they flew into the like the shield, a bit like Wonder Woman, I guess, where the city is hidden. But I was enjoying all of that, and it just opens up, vibranium and like the potential of that being unleashed in the world, is really great, and that hopefully in future movies, that's what I'm excited about. Seeing a vibranium Iron Man suit, or I don't know, but.
No,
what do you think?
No, I think that like you said, it's so funny to see now, how far the MCU has come with, we've got to a point where, you got, like you said, mountains of vibranium when, we had this tiny piece of vibranium previously that was just for Cap's shield. And now it's obviously got all these possibilities of using it and things like that. So it was really good. In that point, I enjoyed, seeing sort of the fight for being king, the
like the
culture.
kingship. Yeah.
They seem very, considering how advanced they are, they still got these sort of like primitive sort of rituals to become king, and very like tribalistic stuff still, even though they live in this futuristic fantastical sort of
Mm.
city, country as it were. And yet they still sort of decide who's going to, by just beating the crap out of each other. um
Yeah.
and so that was interesting. I think I'll list a couple of pros and then a couple of cons, and we can sort of talk about it.
Yeah.
Pros for me: T'Challa. I think the guy that the actor that plays him is really, really good. In like good character. Like they didn't try and is different to a lot of the other Marvel heroes. He's not like quippy, and he's not trying to make everyone laugh, and he's not trying to you know he's very different. He's more like Captain America in that sense, a bit more stoic and a bit more
Yeah.
a
He's a
bit more
king,
serious.
and he's a king, and he's a good man, isn't he? And
Yeah, he's a bit more.
he's very noble, and we're used to sort of the Tony Starks and the kind of Spider-Man and the kind of
Yeah,
the
and
witty kind
I
of
think
characters.
that's why it's quite fresh, because Cap is sort of on an island on his own in terms of his manner and the way he carries himself, and obviously I feel like T'Challa's sort of in that sort of vein of hero as well, with Cap. And even the sort of, in terms of my feelings of the first film, sort of feel as similar to some of the other first films of some of the characters, like Thor and like Captain America, where the first one was like, no, it's a good entry, it's a good film, um
Mm.
a good start to their journey. And then obviously I think as they went on, I feel like they got better. um
Mm.
Maybe not in Thor. I think it went down and then up again, and Cap just got better and better. But no, I enjoy him as T'Challa. As the king, as his journey through that whole film, sort of seeing the errors of his father's ways, and then sort of going a different direction at the end. So I enjoyed him. I just liked the setting of Wakanda. I thought it was cool. I thought it was
The
really,
colours were good as well. Like it was very
yeah,
bright.
very vibrant. Really, like you said, I think you said it was very just different for
Yeah.
the MCU. Just opened up this whole different sort of world, as it were. Completely different sort of
Yeah.
take on it all. A bit like Doctor Strange, and just opening up this whole other side of the MCU. And in this one, he managed to go to sort of spirit walked with some with his ancestors,
Mm.
and that's not really been shown in the MCU before, like people communicating with the dead.
Yeah.
And now we can see that is essentially possible in the MCU. So again, it
Yeah.
sort of opens up a different sort of realm, a different area of the MCU that wasn't there before. So I thought that sort of setting was really, really good.
And
I
someone
thought,
like Tony Stark would love something like that, wouldn't he? To reconnect with
yeah,
his, like
yeah,
it,
no,
it,
exactly. It had
Spider
all,
Man and Uncle Ben, and there could be loads.
yeah, no, definitely. I think what's what else I liked was, I think all the casting was right. All the side characters had a chance to be more than they were.
Yeah.
They weren't just peripheral characters, and it's you only focused on T'Challa. You got to really interact with these other characters that all seemed fairly interesting,
Yeah.
and well done and well acted, and it was good. It was just, yeah, very enjoyable.
I particularly liked the women guards with the bald
Yeah.
heads. I thought that was a good little nugget in
Yeah,
there.
again,
That came
something
off well.
different. I always enjoy. I think it's Denai Guerra. I think is her name, the main one, the colonel, the general of the Dora Milaje. I think is the name of the women.
Yeah.
She plays Michonne in The Walking Dead, and she's just super kick ass sword, like samurai in The Walking Dead. Basically, she's just this amazing fighter in that, and then so it makes it more believable for her, because she just destroys everything in that. You're just thinking, yeah, of course she could, completely. So she's just very interesting, very sort of
Mm.
just that whole troop, very very cool. It looked really cool. They fought really well.
Yeah,
Um,
I think like yeah, like the tribes and the at the beginning it sort of kind of said like one of the tribes went up into the mountains and like you were saying the fight for the kingship. I really enjoyed that in the water and
yeah,
everyone's watching and like they obey the law of Wakanda and it's not he should be the king so he's the king. It's like no, you have the right to fight for it. It's challenge day or whatever they said it was. And that fight was really cool, over the waterfall, and he sort of holds the guy and he says, your people need you. I really enjoyed that whole sort of
mm,
scene. And he's, the Black Panther powers are taken away from him, so it's not like he's got like a one
he's-
up on this guy.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, definitely. I think he yeah, just I think that all those bits really fed into the guy T'Challa being just like you said. I think you hit the nail on the head. Noble,
mm,
very statesman like person who
like a
he's
humble sort of person, isn't he?
yeah like a good. He's just a good man. It seemingly and yeah, just so those are some for me definitely some of the pros. I think
What about
on
Killmonger?
I liked him, but I feel like I don't know whether it felt did it for me it felt rushed like the whole bit. He's like suddenly he kills Claw, he turns up at Wakanda literally in the next scene, and then and then he's in the throne room, then he's challenging for the king, then he fights the king, and then he throws him over the waterfall, and then he's king, and it's like that's all within about feels like 10 minutes. So it just felt like
I really like Killmonger. I really like Michael B.
was
Jordan.
that
Um,
wasn't a critique on him as a character. That's more like
uh,
that whole
the
bit
setup. I
story
think. Well,
felt really quick. I
my
think
wife didn't.
I liked the Killmonger character. It was cool
Yeah,
looking. Good.
I think you
They
spend
built
so
up
much time.
Deadly
This what's the guy's name? The Claw, the South African guy.
Ulysses Claw. Yeah,
Yeah, so you spend so much time, trying to get him, and they're trying, whatever, and then when he gets killed, my wife didn't realize that wasn't the bad guy because she didn't watch
yeah.
any of the, and she said that was a really good turn for her, so it was a
Mm,
bit of a surprise. I knew that he was the boy in the playground. That wasn't I had no shock that was him.
mm,
I think it felt a little bit Lion King like at times,
mm.
and kind of like Mufasa losing his kingdom and Uncle Scar taking over, and then having to be the king
Right.
again. Yeah, you were never really dead. You didn't really win the challenge because you never really killed me.
Yeah,
Whatever. But for me, it was plainly obvious that Killmonger was going to win that fight.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, because
It was
sort
just
of
like
absolutely destroyed him, didn't it? He wasn't even close.
yeah, and I kind of sided with him a little bit and been like, I get where you're coming from, but you just went a bit too dark.
Yeah,
I'd still
he was just super. I mean, again, maybe it's just because we didn't get to see enough of his other, his life. I guess it was just like, wow, he's like so violent. Considering he's like, yeah, we're just gonna kill like the other 5 billion people on Earth just so these other 2 billion people could live, and it's just like, is that what? Like,
yeah. And the
it
bit
was
where
like
obviously they can
it
like you
was
said,
so violent. It was like, wow, okay,
and he, I think for me the bit where I was like, oh, I'm not on board with him anymore was when he visited his dad in that apartment, and his dad and he says you're not going to shed a tear for your dead dad or something, and he's like, nah, everybody dies. And it's like that for me was like, you've killed me. That
yeah, he's not doing it for him. He's doing it for himself. That was the point where
yeah,
he's like, actually,
he's been,
he doesn't give a shit about his dad.
he went a bit too far at that point, and I was,
Yeah.
yeah. Um,
So I
I've
think,
got, I've kind of crossed off all my good stuff on the list. I think
yeah,
I put my last point for the good was I think the humor was good and it wasn't over the top, like it wasn't trying to be a big comedy, but the
I
humor was
that was
sort of
actually
well balanced.
it wasn't a con, but it's not really a positive. I sort of just a statement, I guess. Just I feel like this is probably the least marvelly film they've
Mm.
done for a long time. Like
Yeah,
it
there was
didn't.
no. There was no
It
one
was
in it, was there?
just even like stuff, even more serious in tone ones like Winter Soldier, Civil War in parts. You know, there's more serious in tone. They still had moments of more moments of levity than this. This felt like there might have been a couple of chuckles, and I think that's why I sort of came out like, oh, okay. I feel
Mm.
like, yeah, that was probably on purpose because obviously the message was quite strong message, and like you said, this guy was just wanting to overthrow the world and kill everybody. So it was a bit more like, yeah, maybe this isn't really a jokey sort of thing. It's a bit more serious. So maybe
Mm.
that's why they went with that sort of tone. Because I think
Yeah.
I can only really remember maybe two jokes in the whole film, like the bit where the car
Like him,
blows up.
like him with his sister was quite light toning, was it? And it was she'd made like
Yeah,
the sneakers, and stuff like that. It was just light. It wasn't like
yeah, it
ha
wasn't.
ha. Like it was a nice
which is
tone. I
which is
felt.
which is not really part of the formula. The formula for that's worked for them. But obviously, this seemingly is it's going to be a massive hit. So it's interesting that they sort of deviated from the template, but maybe that was on purpose because they're going to have to change. They're going to have to go in different directions with stuff because they've had so many films. At this point, they're
Yeah.
going to have to try and make some different stuff, do it a little bit differently. So, you can probably imagine, Infinity War is going to be this just gigantic thing. And, Thor was like, I think you and Jack thought it went way too far into the jokes. I love Thor Ragnarok, but it dialed up the jokes compared to other Marvel films. So I
Mm.
feel like they're doing this on purpose to try and, it's gonna, you're to add some flavor, different peaks and troughs to the films. They can't all just be the same tone, you know, sort of funny, very funny, sort of funny, very funny. They've just gone, we're gonna just do different kinds of films as we go along now. And I feel like that's probably it's gonna keep them from going stale in terms
Mm.
of
Well,
the
this
film.
nothing like this has ever been done before, has it?
Yeah,
No, they've never. This Marvel Cinematic Universe is amazing, and why not build on it? I mean, some people are getting a
yeah,
bit bored of it because it's like, but I think Infinity Wars is going to be incredible, and this is just helps
yeah,
that
definitely.
get better.
I guess at one point it takes away from Black Panther to a point because he's in Infinity War, so he's not dead. You know what I mean? Like when he gets thrown off the thing, you're like, yeah, okay.
So
Like
that was so for me. I didn't
when he's
like
going to
that because
turn,
it was
when he's
like,
going to turn up again.
yeah, I wasn't like, oh, he's dead.
Yeah,
You just know
but I
he's
mean,
going to
if
come
you
back.
didn't know anything about Infinity War, there might have been a sneaking doubt, or maybe he did. Obviously, he's not going to die, but it's sort of, you completely taken out of it. You can't even suspend belief for
Mm.
a second. It's like, no, I know he's in. Get this man a shield. He's,
Yeah.
he, unbelievable. One of the best lines in that trailer. The best line in that trailer. Um, amazing. So yeah, no, it was just a statement, really. It felt like I said, like the least marvelly one they've done for probably
Mm.
since like Incredible Hulk. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, or that probably
So
is.
I feel like Guardians goes a bit off the Marvel-y because it's not on in the world, but
Yeah, I guess so. But it's tone wise, it sort of is. I feel like it still
yeah,
is.
yeah,
Um,
totally. So
um,
bad things.
yeah, we're going to
I feel,
cons now.
like
What
I
were
feel
you?
like the CG I feel like the CG was bad in areas.
Yeah, I
And I
think
did.
I think the standard's been so good in Marvel. Like I can't think of another MCU film where I've actually noticed the CG as much.
Yeah,
Like usually it's like, you might have one or two bad CGI, but I think you get that in most CGI films, like films with CGI. There's
yeah.
always going to be one or two bad bits. But I felt like there was like a lot of bad bits.
The bit where they're both falling, him and Killmonger both in the Black Panther suits, and they were falling for it just felt rubbish. I just feel like,
That whole
and
fight, I think you said the whole fight in the dark tunnel with the
yeah,
train. It's like, you've got two Black Panther in these black suits in the dark. It just doesn't,
have it out in the open in the jungle. It would have been much better.
you know what I mean? I just think it didn't look very good on screen. And then, I think those rhinos looked a bit naff. Um,
I think we're watching it in a cinema where it's dark and you would be able to see it the most. When we're watching it on our, TVs, phones, or whatever, it's going to be even harder to tell what happens.
Yeah.
Because
So that
he kind of says good move, doesn't he? When he kills him, he's like, "Oh, good move." I can't even remember what move he did. He's just, stabbed
yeah,
him or something, didn't he?
just flicked the knife up and sort of grabbed it in midair and stabbed him in the stomach. Yeah, I felt like there was a couple of bad moments of CGI in there that it felt odd. It felt strange that they were that was that, because usually it's for Marvel CGI it's like 9 out of 10 nearly every single time.
Oh yeah, it's amazing.
It's always really good. So it was weird for them to maybe they dropped the ball on that. Maybe so. Bad bit. I felt like it was a little bit long.
I didn't feel that way, but I don't know. I was enjoying a different, fresher take on it, I guess.
Yeah. But yeah, no. Usually, I'm not one to moan about long films. Like usually, I've sat through bloody Lord of the Rings 3 or 4 times each in the cinema, so I'm fine with sitting there for ages.
Yeah,
no,
you just wanted it to wrap up a bit quicker, did you?
Yeah, I feel like it felt like some of it was just a bit dragged out. Like, like didn't need to, but usually I don't really feel the length of film, especially if I've loved it. I don't feel how long it's been. It's like, oh wow, it's already finished. So just but the films where it's like, I like it, but I feel the length of time.
Yeah, and I don't want people listening to this to think that we don't like it. I do like it, and I would own it as well to my collection, definitely.
Like you said, I think you said it, but I think you said it earlier. You were going, this is a good film. It's a very good film, well made, well acted, good story. Some good action in there. It's a good film. I think I'm just saying it's not. I don't love it. I went to see. I don't love it like I love Winter Soldier or The Avengers or Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't love it like that. I enjoy it like I enjoy watching Thor.
I enjoy it like I appreciate what it was, and I think he looks cool as Black Panther, but
yeah,
I feel like Black Panther. I feel like it wasn't like an action Black Panther film, as weird as that is. I feel like it was more of a moral thing about him becoming his dad says, you're a good man, but to be a good king is to be a harder thing, or something like that, because it's throughout the power and and then obviously at the end he decides to to share Wakanda with people, which is like a big thing, and that's cool, and I like that. But it didn't, when he was Black Panther, I wasn't, you know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like the best bit for me. When you're watching like a Batman film, when he's Batman, that's like the cool bit. You know what I mean? You're building up to that bit. When he was Black Panther, it didn't really do much for me, if you know what I mean. I was more enjoying the difference. I enjoyed him more as Black Panther in Civil War, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. I think I think in this, I said to Amy yesterday, it just popped into my head again. I think I like T'Challa, the character, but I don't I don't love him. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not, oh man, I love this guy. He's like my favorite guy, favorite hero, favorite person. He's just a really good character, noble, stoic and stuff like that. I feel like the part that maybe we didn't get to see in this film, and obviously he's by the sounds of it, this is going to be an absolute smash hit, so we'll definitely get a second. I feel like maybe we need to see sort of that more, I don't know, a bit more related, a bit more human, a bit more like, I don't know what I'm trying to, just to be a bit more,
a bit vulnerable or something.
Yeah, like just a little bit more. But he's a king, so that's probably, he played very, regal, very that sort of kingly way. But maybe just being a bit more human, a bit more.
Yeah, like the thing with him loving that woman or whatever was a bit lame for me.
Yeah, that was a con. I didn't really feel that at all. Not in the slightest.
It wasn't terrible. It wasn't terrible, but it was like not fast to get to the good bit. But yeah, I don't want people thinking that we hate this film, because I definitely don't hate it.
No, not in the slightest. I think I think for me, sort of in the end. So I think for cons, I think that was it. What did you think of the 2 after credit scenes?
To be honest, I really wanted like a bit more Marvel, like you, and I guess we got that with Bucky,
Yeah.
and that for me just symbolized that he's going to be healed from the whole, mind washing, because the vibranium is powerful enough to heal bullets and whatever.
Mm.
So that's the way I saw the Bucky scene, and obviously they'll probably give him a vibranium arm, won't they?
Yeah,
Um,
definitely.
which would be awesome. He'd probably punch a tank through or something. What was the first one? I can't
It
quite
was
remember the
them at the
first.
UN saying, yeah, we're going to share our resources and science and technology and and whatever. And they're like, what does some third world country with a bunch of villages going to teach us? And then he sort of smiles like hurt, like
Yeah,
because
was that one of the end credit scene? I just thought that was. I thought that was
no,
just the end of the
that
film.
was a mid credits. That was a mid credits one.
Okay, what was the end of the film then?
The end of the film was him in LA, wasn't it? When they revealed the ship, and those kids were like, "Yeah, let's destroy it and take all the bits."
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, that was a bit I liked as well, because it's about change, isn't it? And not everybody adapts to that change, because it would have been easier for him to go, I'm going to do things like my old dad, or whatever. And yeah, so that was, yeah. There's a little bit of vulnerable there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
yeah, no,
more of that sort of thing at the end, where because he sort of came across as like, okay, this is it's a warm, maybe that warmth. I think was what I feel like just needs to
yeah,
be explored a little bit more in the next one. Which, and I said, this is a really good film. It's a good film. I enjoyed it.
yeah.
But I feel
I'll,
like
I'll, I'll definitely
there's
try
room
it.
to grow there.
Yeah,
There's room to
yeah,
improve.
man.
It's hard to sometimes, because we're so deep into this MCU, and I fell foul of it as well, especially with some of these, some of these solo ones, the newer ones we've got. It's difficult to say, what, this film, you can only really compare it to, say, the first Cap or the first Thor or the first Iron Man in terms of telling the story of that character. This is his first outing. Some of the ones
Mm,
haven't been as, Iron Man, the first one was amazing, but say Thor, the Thor one was good, and so was the Cap one, but the Cap got better. Thor got introduced in other films, and Iron Man, I still enjoyed 2, and I enjoyed 3. Some people not so much enjoy those ones. Maybe that's
mm,
another video we can do.
yeah,
Sort of
definitely.
what we feel about each one. Um, but
But no,
you've got to remember it's the
o-
first outing.
but overall, I'm happy with the freshness of it. That
Yeah,
I'm happy. So yeah,
yeah.
good job, good
Enjoy
job,
the film.
Marvel.
Yeah.
Mm,
Another. I think it's going to be, obviously it clearly looks like it's going to be a big success again. They keep churning out these, very good films, well made, well acted, enjoyable films. And I think, like you said, Dave, I think Infinity War, if they hit it right, I'm pretty sure I'm going to be seeing that a few times in the cinema if it's as good as I hope it is.
mm.
We've been building up to this for
I'm
10
gonna
years.
go. I can't imagine it being bad, and that's, I'll go on record, and I hope I never have to come back to this clip. But I just, yeah, I
Yeah,
really
no,
hope it's not our
yeah.
Batman
I
and
mean,
Robin. But
they would have to really do some really odd and weird things to make it bad. I just, it feels like, let's put all these guys together, let's have them fighting Thanos and then fighting all this other stuff, and sort of have Thanos win at the end. Like that's sort of how I sort of see this
yeah,
thing go.
if Thanos is really weak, then I feel like it's a bit of a waste of time. He needs to.
Yeah, he
I
needs
feel
to
like
dominate.
people need to die really, and for it to have a bit more weight, and
He needs,
that's.
he needs to dominate. He needs to absolutely dominate, and he has to just whoop some serious backside
Mm,
in the film and just absolutely destroy people. And just they need to be like, we're never going to be able to beat this guy. He's just unstoppable. So
yeah,
that's Infinity War. But yeah, good. Black Panther, good. Recommended. Go and see it and enjoy.
yeah,
And
enjoy it.
yeah,
If you've not
I think
seen.
that's it from me. Is that it from you, Dave?
Yeah,
Yeah,
happy to be doing the newer films. I know
yeah,
some people have asked for this as well, so hope you enjoy this too.
yeah. Cool. And yeah, have a good evening. All
Cool.
right, guys.